everybody, and welcome to the Greenup Beacon Video News Magazine. I am your host, Brittany Hoback, and we have a wonderful show planned for you today. First up, I will be interviewing State Representative Tanya Pullen. And then after that, I will have the Director of Tourism of Greenup County, Bobby Allen, who hopefully will be walking over here for his interview up next. And then we should have a cooking segment, which will be in my kitchen, and I will be making dog treats, which everybody knows from watching previous segments that I do have 5 dogs at home. So making my own homemade dog treats is one of my favorite things to do because, like I said, it saves a lot of going to the store and buying a lot of treats for the dogs. Also, after the show, make sure that you stay in tune with greenupbeacon.com because we have a Christmas music extravaganza that we worked for several weeks compiling music from local talent. We have Aaron Keaton, who sang some wonderful Christmas songs, and also Joan Miller, and also the Scioto Brass Trio, who played a lot of Christmas songs, which is Carl Daler, Terry Thompson, and Dale Dalton. So make sure you stay tuned after the show, which will air right after, and then also we will have it archived. So if you miss it today and you want to join in later, you can go on to greenupbeacon.com and check the archived show. So stay tuned. We're going to go to a couple commercials, and I'll be back with my first guest.
This is the Greenup Beacon News Magazine, a presentation of the Greenup Beacon and First and People's Bank and Trust. Also brought to you by Stoltz Pharmacy, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, Carmen Funeral Home, Meredith Chiropractic Office, and Tanya Pullen, State Representative. Your host today, Brittany Hoback, along with co-host Hank Bond and editor and producer Keith Adkins. This is an exclusive presentation of the Greenup Beacon, greenupbeacon.com, and greenupbeacon2.com. First and People's Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and People's Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and People's Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
Stoltz Pharmacy is now offering patients compounding for their prescription needs. Stoltz Pharmacy is the only pharmacy in the area that is PCCA certified. We can provide you with hormone replacement, neuropathy creams, scar creams, pediatric prescriptions, and we can even help you with your veterinarian needs. If you have any questions, please call 606-834-1052. That's 834-1052. Stoltz Pharmacy in Greenup, Flatwoods, and Wheelersburg. More than you expect from a pharmacy.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching GreenupBeacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
The force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like that.
Hello everybody, we are back, and I'm here with State Representative Tanya Pullen. So how are you today?
I'm great, how are you?
I am doing wonderful.
Good.
It's a little chilly in here today. I had them turn up the heat, but this is better than the windy craziness going on outside.
It's all good, it's wintertime.
Yeah, 'tis the season. So I guess before we get into the business of this interview, have you got your Christmas shopping done?
I'm all done. Trees are up, packages are bought, wrapped
Really?
under the tree. The deliveries I need to make, some shut-ins and so on are all done, and so I'm ready to enjoy Christmas.
I'm so jealous because I am not done. I had my mother down here last week, and she says, I'll come down and help you Christmas wrap. And I thought, but I don't have anything for you to wrap. So I did hurry up and I went and I bought some stuff so at least she could come down here and I had something for her to do. And so we got about half of it done, but I still have so much more to do. And so I need to get that done this weekend because it's like Christmas is next week.
It is next week. Christmas is next week.
That means she doesn't have our presents.
There you go.
Exactly. So I need to get everybody done here in this room. I gotta get on it. So why don't you just, I guess, tell our viewers how you got to this point, basically just your education up to now.
Wow. Well, the School of Hard Knocks has taught me the most.
Exactly, and that does usually.
Street cred or whatever you call that. That's where I've learned the most through life. I went to McHale Elementary School, and I went to McHale High School.
So you're a local girl.
And I can tell my age.
Yeah.
Everybody's figuring out if she went to McHale High School. But I graduated from Greenup County High School.
Okay.
So you can narrow it down to a 3-year window. I was the second class to graduate from Greenup County High School.
Okay.
And then I went to University of Kentucky undergraduate, and then I have a law degree from the University of Kentucky.
Okay.
And I actively practiced law all the time until I started being a maker of the laws. And Hank and I were talking earlier, it is quite difficult to do both of those well. And there are not many lawyers in the General Assembly. I know people like to say there are, but in fact there are not very many, and fewer than there were even a few years ago, because it is so difficult to maintain an active, busy law practice and serve constituents. And you mentioned that I've been serving since I was first elected in 2000 and then took office in 2001. Well, two things happened on the night I was elected.
Okay.
I was elected, and I was happy about that. I appreciate the folks giving me a chance to represent them. But that was also the moment, the day, that the Constitution of Kentucky was changed so that the General Assembly met every year instead of every other year. And our younger viewers may not even remember that when the General Assembly used to meet every other year. It met for 60 days every 2 years.
Okay.
And of course, some people thought we should meet for 2 days every 60 years, which may have been effective, but the Constitution was actually changed on Election Day in 2000, and the voters, in their wisdom, although I don't understand how this constitutional amendment was passed, because I have yet to find anybody in Kentucky who will admit to voting for it. So I don't know how it's passed.
I don't know where it came
On
from.
the night I went to bed on election night in 2000, I was very happy. I got both things I wanted. I had been elected to represent the good people here, and the amendment that would change the Constitution so that the General Assembly would meet every year had failed, according to reports.
Okay.
We woke up the next morning and something happened. Votes were found somewhere. Who knows?
Who knows?
And in fact, the amendment had passed, and now the General Assembly meets every year. So that has also changed the tenure and the nature of the service in the General Assembly, because we do indeed meet every year. So the time in between the sessions is now quite active in the interim to prepare for the next session and to look at what was passed the last session to be sure that it is what was intended and make sure it is not unintended consequences and so on. So it really is now a year-round, all the time job, still part-time, still considered part-time, but it changed quite a bit when that constitutional amendment made us meet every year. And a number of lawyers, friends of mine, have decided that they cannot maintain their active practice and serve in the General Assembly because it is really demanding. We have probably a little different situation here too, because we are so far away. I think that my drive to Frankfort from here is maybe the fourth longest drive of all state representatives in Kentucky. Because as you know, if you're coming from central Kentucky, you don't pass through here to go to any place. You are coming here. So it's 3 hours, and I can't make it any shorter. It just is 3 hours. I have to leave out my front door 3 hours before a committee meeting starts, or I will be late. And some who live closer, even Louisville and Lexington, it's a 45-minute drive, that they can maintain a life and attend meetings. I actually have to do either one or the other. I either have to go to Frankfort for a meeting, or I can be here for the day. I can't be both because it's 6 hours of driving, 3 there, 3 back, and the meeting. It's not a complaint, it's just real life. The part of my job I hate the most is driving back and forth to Frankfort.
I can only imagine.
And you would think that with time it would get easier, but in fact it seems to actually grate on me more, I'll be honest. So that I know every bump and crack in the road on I-64 from here to there. And this past year my mother was actually pretty ill, and I sometimes would stay over between committee meetings, but this past year I've driven back and forth every single time to be sure to be here as much as possible. So anyway, that's an outlay, more than you ask, but that's an outlay of why it is the way it is in the General Assembly these days. The wisdom of the voters expressed on Election Day in November of 2000 means we meet every year, and the interim starts as soon as the session ends to prepare for the next session.
The next one.
So this upcoming session starts on the 6th day of January.
Okay.
Because it always starts on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in January.
Right, and I've read that before, which is always interesting how
here's why that matters. You really don't want to be the first Tuesday in January, because possibly that'd be January 1st.
Right, which would be unfortunate.
That's right. So this is the first Tuesday after the first Monday. It could be anywhere from the 2nd to the 8th of January. This year it happens to be the 6th, and we meet for a week. And in that week is organization. It's called the organization session.
Okay.
And in fact, I've already been asked today by one of our very wise citizens here in Greenup County, will the Speaker of the House be reelected? Well, we don't know, because we will have those elections that first week of January.
Okay.
Both the Speaker of the House and the Speaker Pro Tem are elected by the entire House of Representatives.
Okay.
And then each caucus, the Majority Caucus, which is the Democratic Caucus, and the Minority Caucus, which is the Republican Caucus, will elect caucus officers as well from amongst our ranks. It is generally accepted that the Majority Caucus will elect one of our members to be Speaker and Speaker Pro Tem because the Majority Caucus, by nature being the majority, has more votes than the Minority Caucus.
Sure.
So even if every minority member voted against our choice as Speaker, but officially, every member of the House votes for Speaker, and every member of the House votes for Speaker Pro Tem, and they serve a term of 2 years. The other elected members from each caucus serve at the pleasure of the caucus and can be removed and changed at any time, even in between.
Wow.
And it has been occasionally necessary for me to remind them of that.
Yes. By the way, you can be removed.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
We don't have to wait till the next election.
Exactly.
We serve at our pleasure.
Exactly. Now, your district is District 98.
That's right.
Which covers entire Greenup County.
That's right.
And then part of Boyd.
A very small part of Boyd.
Okay.
When I was first elected, it was just exactly Greenup County, and I
Okay.
was the only one in the state like that had one county, only one county, and all of one county.
Okay.
In the first redistricting that I went through, we had not lost population in Greenup County, but didn't quite grow to the extent that the state had grown in population. So I added one precinct in Boyd County, and that was Hoods Creek. So for 10 years, I represented all of Greenup County and Hoods Creek and Boyd County. I love those people in Hoods Creek. Then in this last redistricting, a similar thing occurred, but this is important to note. Greenup County grew in population in the last census.
Okay.
Here's why that matters. You hear a lot of people say Eastern Kentucky this or Eastern Kentucky that. And I think it's important that the people in this county don't always take that mantle on because it is not always true for us.
Okay.
For example, during the redistricting process, you would have heard a lot of people say, and reporters report, Eastern Kentucky lost population. All the districts of Eastern Kentucky lost population. That may have been true for everyone else, but it was not true for Greenup County.
Okay.
Greenup County grew in the last 10-year census in population.
Okay.
That is one of many things that sets us apart from the rest of Eastern Kentucky. We are east by virtue of being on this side of I-75,
Okay.
but there is very little else that associates us statistically with many other parts of Eastern Kentucky. So we grew, but actually because of the way the redistricting worked, Representative Kevin Sinnott now represents all of Boyd County, and that county was going to be a bit too big because the federal law says one person, one vote means we have to all represent pretty much the same number of people.
Okay.
We have very little wiggle room, but that means all the people whom I represent have the same value of vote as the people who live in Louisville or Lexington. Everybody's vote counts the same. So actually, as we would say it, that district needed to not take every precinct in Boyd County, so I added just a couple of precincts. So now I have 3 precincts in Boyd County and all of Greenup County.
So the redistricting has to do with the amount of voters.
It's the amount of voters, and the districts now are approximately 45,000 people.
Okay.
And it has to be within no more than a 5% variance, plus or minus, so that every single state representative represents the same number of people. So your vote counts the same, and when I cast it in Frankfurt, as somebody's vote from another part of the state.
All right, which is very interesting. It's something that I did not know.
And I know, and sometimes people, when they talk about redistricting, get so involved in the politics of it, forget that why it's important.
Sure.
It's important so that everybody has the same value of vote in the House of Representatives for the people's business.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to go to a commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the committees that you serve on, and then we're also going to talk about the difference between the House and the Senate.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. Visit the Sungate Alpaca Company to experience the vibrant cultural heritage of South America and discover the extraordinary luxury fabric called alpaca. Wrap yourself in a stylish alpaca scarf. Transform your living room by adding texture and color with a hand-loomed alpaca throw blanket, and add a little extra warmth and cozy fashion with an alpaca hat and matching gloves. Visit sungatealpaca.com for all your alpaca needs. Find us on Facebook for special deals and inventory updates. Shop Sungate Alpaca.
The fine people at Carmen Funeral Home have been working with families in need for over 100 years. Carmen Funeral Home offers compassionate and caring services to those in their time of need, from pre-arrangement to final arrangements, with 2 convenient locations in Flatwoods and Russell. Carmen Funeral Home. putting people first since 1913.
Our patients are priority number one. For the 7th straight year, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital has received Health Grade's Outstanding Patient Experience Award, and the hospital continues to be placed in the top 5% in the nation for outstanding patient experience. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital says thank you to our patients for this People's Choice honor. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, on a mission for good health for you and your family.
You know, I was
Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching GreenupBeacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
because the force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like
Hello everybody, we are back, and again I'm here with State Representative Tanya Pullen, and we are talking about we were talking about the importance of redistricting. There I go again. I don't have enough spit in my mouth to get this out. And about how it is important to have the districts the same size, so that it's important that your vote, our vote, counts the same, no matter if it's a small county or if it's a large, which is very important. So let's talk about since session is starting in January. Each, I guess, House member is on committees. Now, do you get to choose those committees, or are you kind of appointed to the committees?
We're appointed to the committees. In fact, we talked about electing our leadership from among our caucus.
Okay.
Once our leadership is elected, then they together appoint persons to chair committees and appoint membership of committees. Of course, you can imagine there is a lot of politics, I guess you
Well,
say.
yes.
I guess that's the right word.
Of course.
There's a lot of politics involved and so on and so forth. And I'm very pleased to have chaired the Veterans Military Affairs and Public Safety Committee.
Okay.
And the reason I say it like that, I'll point out in a minute, for about 7 years now, I think. It's been quite some time, 6 or 7 years. I say that because I always enjoy the public safety part of the committee. The Veterans and Military Affairs get the most attention, but I call the public safety part potpourri.
Okay.
Which, if you watch Jeopardy, you know what that is.
Of course.
That means that's the category of whatever else you want. And it's been quite useful to me because if there is an element of something else that I'm quite interested in, I can say my committee has jurisdiction over that. For example, the copper theft bill that I sponsored.
Okay.
I said my committee has jurisdiction over that because that's public safety.
And it falls under this
there
nice
you
little
go.
category.
There you go.
Potpourri.
So I've enjoyed having that too. But the First Lady, actually, Jane Bashir, asked me a year or so ago, we were riding somewhere together, she asked me why I was interested in veterans and military issues. And she said, is it because your father served, or what is it? And I said, well, yes, my father did serve, but like many folks, he did not talk about it.
Sure.
He was in World War II. I don't know anything about his service. I know he was in the Army Air Corps. That's all I know. But I explained to her, this is why these issues are important to me. They're important to me because they're important to the district which I serve. I knew something about us intuitively, and that is a lot of people here have served in the military. I didn't know exactly how much I should have known that until we started to work on the Veterans Cemetery, which is here in Greenup County. And I'll tell you how I first wanted that. I went to Fort Campbell to visit the base there and saw that near Fort Campbell was this state Veterans Cemetery. It's the Kentucky Veterans Cemetery West. And I thought, oh, we got to have one of those.
Yeah.
We have land. We have a lot of veterans. We got to get us one of those.
We need-
That's how it started.
We need one of those.
That's right. And 7 years later, ours became a reality. But in the course of that, we had to do a survey. The state had to do a survey because the federal government built it. The federal government builds those upon application of the state government to request it being built.
Okay.
And there are 2 or 3 things that are included in the application that are important. The state government has to own the land before making the application and maintain ownership of the land. The state government has to do a survey of how many veterans in a 50-mile radius of the site. And then the state government has to promise to operate it in perpetuity.
Okay.
So the building cost of about $8 million was the federal government. The other cost is the state government. But when we did that survey, I was shocked to find that in our immediate area,
It was just the 50 miles.
just the 50 miles, there were 77,000 veterans.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
So although it was something I sort of knew, I didn't know it to the extent that it was real. Wow. 27,000 veterans. So again, I talked about this is something special about us, and
Sure.
our population grew. That was special. This is special. It is really unusual for a place that is not near a military installation.
Absolutely.
So here's what that means. It means that people from here have gone and served in the military and come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And then lived here humbly enough that nobody noticed this about us.
Sure.
If there is one thing, if you said to me, you have to pick out just one thing of which you are most proud in your service, it would be this. Not any particular project or any particular thing, but that I've been able to point out to the state and to our own people that this is something special and unusual about us. This is outstanding about us, that we have this tremendous legacy of military service.
Sure.
I'll give you one more example of something that illustrates it. We are the only county in the nation, not Los Angeles County, California, not Manhattan in New York, but no, Greenup County, Kentucky is the only county in the nation with 2 Medal of Honor recipients from the Army from the same war.
Wow.
And you probably know that the US 23 is called the Collier West Memorial Highway, named for those 2 Medal of Honor recipients. John Collier, who went to Raceland High School, received his medal posthumously in the Korean War. He threw himself on a grenade, knowing what his fate would be to save the other people in his unit. And Ernie West, who is still living and whom I enjoyed visiting with last week, is in his 80s. He suffered great wounds and injuries as well when he received did deeds to receive the Medal of Honor, also in Korea. But we are the only county in the nation with 2 Medal of Honor recipients from the Army from the same war.
Wow, that is just so fantastic, and I'm sure that so many people don't know that, and that is fantastic.
And I think many people do not know our military heritage because it is something that people live out humbly. No, people don't brag about it.
People don't talk about it.
We don't have a military base, and before the Veterans Cemetery was built, we didn't have a single military or veterans establishment of any kind, a government establishment in this county. We didn't have a recruiting office, and so it was only right that these 77,000 veterans have something right here in Greenup
I still
County.
cannot believe that number. I mean, that is just...
And there are 5 full-time employees of the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs at the cemetery. So any veteran in this area, if they need help, if they need assistance, they aren't sure who to call, although they can get on the website and call the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs. But if they aren't sure, they can just go to the cemetery, and there are 5 full-time employees of the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs there who will help them, assist them. They're at the cemetery in the administration building all the time.
Wow, that is just an unbelievable project, and that is something certainly to be really, really proud of.
Every person in this county should be very proud of our military heritage and of the place that we hold in serving and protecting this nation.
Yes, absolutely. And I just, that generation, from the World War II era, I mean, it's the book, The Greatest Generation. I mean, that's certainly, I love that book. I think I've read it 4 or 5 times because those stories, those individual stories of those people, whether it's from the soldiers to the nurses to the people building the planes to, the people going into the factories, it's just, wow.
Well, this county, more than most, played a role.
Sure.
More than most.
Wow,
and we should be very proud of that.
Absolutely. We are actually going to take one more commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we are going to talk about the difference between the House and Senate, because I do think that is important for our viewers, because again, it's things that people don't know. And we are going to illustrate that for them. So we will be right back.
The fine people at Carmen Funeral Home have been working with families in need for over 100 years. Carmen Funeral Home offers compassionate and caring services to those in their time of need, from pre-arrangement to final arrangements, with 2 convenient locations in Flatwoods and Russell. Carmen Funeral Home, putting people first since 1913. At Meredith Chiropractic, you will enjoy state-of-the-art chiropractic facilities and discover the true wellness lifestyle. Dr. Terry Meredith is a member of Great Doctors of Chiropractic and has helped many in the Ashland area experience natural healing without surgery or drugs. If you're looking for a skilled chiropractic doctor, visit meredithchiropractic.com, call 329-8158, or visit Dr. Meredith's office at 2120 Carter Avenue in Ashland.
Okay, everybody, we are back, and again, I'm here with State Representative Tanya Pullen. And before we move on to the differences between the House and the Senate, we are going to talk about a couple of the other committees that you serve on. So, I'm going to give you the floor on that one.
Well, and I've been proud to serve for many years on the State Government Committee. It is another one of those committees that has a broad jurisdiction, and I'm serve on the Transportation Committee, which I'm very pleased to do. I also serve on the Labor and Industry Committee.
Okay.
We have, of course, a strong labor presence in this part of the state, and they do a good job coming down and represent working people before that committee. And I also have now, for quite a while, been serving on every subcommittee of the budget.
Okay, great.
And I appreciated the opportunity to do that. I was asked to help work on budget matters, and I was very, I basically said I won't do it unless it's official and we do something official, and I was very pleased to, it's an odd situation, and I think I'm called an emeritus vice chairman of the Appropriations and Revenue Committee, and I serve on every budget subcommittee. The reason for that is we have a little rule book about this thick of a lot of rules in the House, and one of the rules is you cannot chair a standing committee, and there are only 15 standing committees, and those chairmen kind of have an additional amount of responsibility. So to spread things out, the rule is you can't chair a standing committee and serve on Appropriations and Revenue. So I guess we sort of got around that in a way that I'm chairing the committee that I chair and also serve on every budget subcommittee, which is a real eye-opener and a lot of education for me, but I'm also glad to be able to participate in so many areas of government, and it pleases me that my colleagues have had that kind of trust in me to allow me to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, the areas of budget, of course, are subject of debate for all areas of government and all areas of just business in general.
Right.
My husband is a physician, and of course, budget is affecting hospitals is a big issue right now.
Right.
And so and he runs his business there, and he works with the hospital, and it's it's hard. It's a juggle, and it's something that everyone is facing.
Everyone's facing.
And I have a small business of my own, and so things are changing for me as well.
Right.
And so you just got to have your ear to the ground everywhere.
One of the pieces of legislation I've been proudest of, to be honest, is the small business job creation tax incentive that we established in Kentucky. And at that time, we were the only state that did that. Normally, job creation tax incentives are only available for big businesses.
Right.
But I grew up in a small business. Literally grew up in a small business. My mother was a beautician, had a beauty shop, and if I got sick and had to come home from school, I didn't get to go home. I had to go in the back room of the beauty shop, the storeroom of the beauty shop.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that small business is a great job creator for us, and in many ways has brought us as a nation, as a state, and as a county out of the recession.
Sure, absolutely.
By the way, we have good unemployment rate here in Greenup County too. I know I keep telling you things that separate us from the rest of Eastern Kentucky, but our unemployment rate is consistently better than Jefferson County, which is Louisville, and consistently one of the top 10 best in the state.
Which is fantastic. Now you have some.
Oh yeah, I was showing you this during the break.
Yes,
I feel like don't you feel like David Letterman during the break? Here's what we were
during
talking
the
about.
break. This is what we were talking about.
And I just brought
great.
a few things. Generally on these maps we get, this you don't have to see the detail of this map. It's just a map. There you go.
Yeah.
And the key element of this is generally the darker the color, the worse it is, whatever the statistic is. And you can see it well from this map. Much of Eastern Kentucky is very dark blue.
But not Greenup.
That's right, but not Greenup.
But not Greenup.
And I see that. In fact, I've started collecting a file. I see that over and over and over as these come across my desk. And I'll just tell you what some of these are, in particular, that I brought with me to illustrate this. This one is age-adjusted cancer mortality rates. Lowering Greenup and Boyd in this case than anywhere else in Eastern Kentucky.
Which is great.
And then this one is age-adjusted cancer incidence rates. Greenup is even lower than Boyd in this one, and again the lowest in Eastern Kentucky. And the colors of our county often match the colors of Central Kentucky. And we hear sometimes about the Winchester Wall. It's almost as if the Winchester Wall in these cases have been breached. And this is a more recent one I got just this week. The percentage of women reporting smoking during pregnancy. And you can see only one county in Eastern Kentucky is the color found in most of Central Kentucky.
Absolutely.
And that's Greenup.
Yes.
And then
which is a huge problem. I mean, that can create so many problems
Absolutely.
for the baby of no birth weight and things like that, which is just, and smoking is a huge problem anyhow.
The Robert Wood Johnson Medical Foundation does a ranking of all 120 counties by a wide variety of health statistics. They take about 15 or 20 cohorts into account when they do this. There are only 2 counties in eastern Kentucky in the top half: Round County and Greenup County.
Greenup. So we're doing all right. We are
And then
doing all right.
I have one other quick thing to share. I know you want to talk about the Senate in a minute, but I don't really know much about the Senate, so I'm going to talk about things I know about. Because that's one big difference in the House and the Senate. People think that we see each other a lot, or we don't really that much. Most of my work is in the House. A bill passed out of the House, the Senate has to consider it, and I have to appear before a Senate committee to present it, just as if anybody would present it.
Sure.
And so there really is not a lot of interaction between the Senate and the House, each of us doing our work parallel as the session goes on. Okay, this is an overall comparative assessment of health risk in Greenup County, and you can see by the 120 counties we rank number 29.
Yeah, which is
Out of 120 counties.
yes.
That's remarkable. And some of the strengths are good prenatal care, high immunization rates. Those are some of the better things.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And then this one I love just because it is good specifically for our county, but this is a Kentucky map. What will your $100 buy across the nation? How much your money worth? I found this one very interesting. Of course, the dark areas are in the Northeast, as you'd expect, and California, as you might say, and even Alaska. Look how dark Hawaii is, very expensive,
exactly.
right? But just about one of the lowest rates, and lower than even some of the states surrounding us, is Kentucky. And the same $100 that will buy you, I'm sorry, I gotta get this kind of close, folks don't make fun of me. The same $100 that will buy you $88 worth of goods in California will buy you $112 worth of goods in Kentucky.
Kentucky, see, so it's a great state to make your $100
Go for it.
go for it.
And in Greenup County in particular, I think it's hard to find, if you like a big city, you'll not be happy here because it's not a big city.
Sure.
But I think
But
it's
you're
hard
close
to find
to
a
Lexington,
lot of
you
big
know,
cities, or
and-
Columbus, or
Exactly.
Cincinnati. I think it's really hard to find a small town or rural area better place to live than this place. And our cost of living in Greenup County is also relatively low. That is by state, but relatively low as well. And it's we have the river, we have a state park. You know, there are very few state parks in Kentucky, so of the 120 counties, only a few have a state park
We've got
available.
some great, great schools.
Yes,
doing some
we
wonderful
do.
things. We've had superintendents down here, and we've had the principals and great projects that they're working on, and so they're doing a really good job. And test scores are all
Test
going
scores are
up
all
every
going
year.
up.
So I'm a fan.
There you go. Me too,
I'm a
as you can
fan.
tell. As you can tell.
Exactly.
But sometimes I do think our folks here buy into this. These colors are dark, and these areas are suffering in eastern Kentucky, and take that on as a mantle ourselves. And the statistics simply do not bear that out for our community.
Exactly.
And we have challenges, we have things that we must do better, but we should not take the negativity that is sometimes handed out of it for everything east of I-75.
Sure, I understand. So you were speaking just briefly about the differences between the House and the Senate, that you, like you said, you do your passing of the laws and legislation, and you run parallel to the Senate.
Right,
So you
right.
pass your stuff, and then
They're passing their
stuff.
stuff. They send their stuff to us, and we send our stuff to them. That's right. Exactly.
That's very black and white here.
Exactly.
And then that's pretty much how it goes. And then
That's how it goes.
And so they're going to be in session as well.
At the exact same time, doing the exact same things.
Doing the exact same thing. And then even whenever session is over, is there still like this parallel running, I guess?
During the interim, we often meet together. It's
Okay.
called an interim joint committee. So the fellow who chairs the Veterans and Military Affairs and Public Safety Committee in the Senate will call his committee, and I will call my committee, and we will meet together to look at legislation that we passed or legislation we may pass the next session, or to get reports from the National Guard or the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs or the state police or county health departments or whomever. So we often, but not always, but we often will meet in committee together between the sessions to get this, because this is general testimony. It doesn't involve voting. It involves educating our members. In that we often meet together. But during the session, and this session, because it is a short one, there are really only 24 working days. That first week is spent
organizing.
And the last 2 days are spent overriding vetoes. So at least 24 days. And for a complex piece of legislation to pass through two chambers, and for the public to have adequate time to understand it, digest it, comment, and get those comments to us, that isn't very much time.
No, that's a very
So
short period of
complex
time.
legislation really should not be tackled in this short session, in my opinion. It sometimes is, and I think we've sometimes paid a price for it because when a thing is rushed like that and we don't have the input of all the people who would be affected, it sometimes is not the best piece of legislation. It has to be changed later. So this session is meant to be for housekeeping, for more simple things to get them out of the way before next session, or to handle things that can't wait till next session. And I hope that this session will in fact take on that personality, because sometimes these short sessions, complex legislation is handled and it really shouldn't be. 24 days is not time for us to consider the bill, get it out in the public may comment back to us and do the best, because it's these words on these pieces of paper matter.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming down here today. We
Sure.
really appreciate
Glad
the
to do it.
interview. And if someone were wanting to get a hold of you,
My number's in the phone book.
Your number's in the phone book. Perfect. And you also have a website too, correct? Or it's like your-
Yes, and you can go to the legislature website and find every legislature there. You just put in the search term Kentucky Legislature. We're all there alphabetically, House and Senate. You can find everybody.
Great.
And mailing addresses, emails, and so on. But my number's in the phone book under my name.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you again very, very much. And we are going to go to a commercial. And then next up, we have Bobby Allen, who is the Director of Tourism for Greenup County. And we're going to talk about some tourism events that are going to be upcoming for the area. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
First and Peoples Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and Peoples Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and Peoples Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
Stoltz Pharmacy is now offering patients compounding for their prescription needs. Stoltz Pharmacy is the only pharmacy in the area that is PCCA certified. We can provide you with hormone replacement, neuropathy creams, scar creams, pediatric prescriptions, and we can even help you with your veterinarian needs. If you have any questions, please call 606-834-1052. That's 834-1052. Stoltz Pharmacy in Greenup, Flatwoods, and Wheelersburg. More than you expect from a pharmacy.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Visit the Sungate Alpaca Company to experience the vibrant cultural heritage of South America and discover the extraordinary luxury fabric called alpaca. Wrap yourself in a stylish alpaca scarf, transform your living room by adding texture and color with a hand-loomed alpaca throw blanket, and add a little extra warmth and cozy fashion with an alpaca hat and matching gloves. Visit sungatealpaca.com for all your alpaca needs. Find us on Facebook for special deals and inventory updates. Shop Sungate Alpaca. Hello everybody, I am back and I'm here now with the Director of Tourism, Bobby Allen.
Hi.
Hi. I had to get instructions from my boss as he steps out of the room.
That's
you know,
fine.
exactly. He leaves me here to, tear up the joint.
Well, the one and only Hank Bond.
The one and only Hank Bond,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So I haven't been able to live down the pencil throwing incident that I had a couple weeks ago.
It happens.
I know, and my mom happened to be here during that episode, and I get rolling with my hand talking.
Well, that's okay.
And I can't help it.
That's okay.
And I was on a roll and doing this. And
See, that's why I've got to stand up and walk around.
Exactly.
Usually, because I'd start throwing things too. So I totally understand.
And then out went the pencil, and luckily there was no one on the other side of me, and I didn't injure anybody. So that was good.
Do I need to sign a waiver?
You might. You might need to. All right, so your official job title is Director of Tourism.
Correct.
For Greenup County.
Yes.
All right, so how did you get involved with directing tourism?
Well, I am a Greenup County native.
Okay.
Went to high school at Russell, graduated in '98, went on to Georgetown College, and then I worked away from here for quite some time. And then at the time, my only daughter and my wife and I just wanted to change. We lived closer to Lexington, and having been raised here, I'll echo what Representative Pullen said, that it is a great place to raise a family.
Sure.
When you talk about the factors like crime rate and the success of the local school districts, unemployment, all of it.
Sure.
We thought that this would be a good place to bring our family, so that's what happened. And it just really happened that at the time that we moved back, this position was open. and I had some marketing experience from previous jobs, so it fit. It fell in line with what they were looking for. So I was happy to take on the task of changing the direction of where they were going and what they were trying to accomplish.
And I think that it's difficult. I came from a small town as well. I'm from northern West Virginia, and it's a small little country town as well. And my dad was heavily involved after he retired from the penitentiary. He was a prison warden, and then after that he got involved with the Economic Development Council, and he was the manager there and was really trying to pull in, because the prison closed there. And then after that he really tried to use that building and pull in tourism that way. And now it's a huge deal. They have ghost tours, and then the haunted house, and and then they had the mock prison riots. And
that wouldn't be Moundsville, would it?
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be. So my dad was the pioneer of
That's
that.
very cool.
And he's
cool.
passed away about 4 years ago, but that was his. We got to get a hotel in. We got to get And I was telling, I think the last week, I was like, it was a big deal when they got PayPal.
Sure. Well, sure.
And this is before Facebook and before all of those things. And it was, I remember just a lot of it was, doing deals, at restaurants, at bars,
whatever you had to do.
Whatever you had to do.
Absolutely.
With a lot of legwork
Absolutely.
to really get. Because there isn't anything else in that town.
That's true.
It was
That's true.
So to have that building, and it's a huge, beautiful building.
Yep.
But they closed it down in '98. What are you going to do with it? And it was a huge job creator.
Absolutely.
So they did close it down, and they made. They made a medium security prison, and then they transferred the maximum security down to Mount Olive, West Virginia. So, it really made a job shift, and it's just like, so, what are you going to do? So they set up a contract where you rent the building for $1 for 99 years or something like that, which is the same way that Safe Harbor has set up their same way with the tuberculosis building that they use. It's kind of like the same contract. But it's an interesting, it's difficult how you have to use a whole set of.
It's very tough.
Yes.
I tell people a lot of times I get the opportunity to go speak at Rotary and Kiwanis and stuff like that. So I like to give people a general idea of what the really what our goal is and our purpose. Technically, by the way it's written, we are to help advertise and promote and market outside of a 100-mile radius to try to get people to come in. Well, anybody that spends more than 5 minutes here knows that we are not a true tourist destination. We don't have a beach. We don't have professional sports teams. We don't have things that would normally draw in tourism. So much like with the prison in Moundsville, and I'll give you another example in West Virginia, which is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston. You've got to think outside the box a little bit.
Absolutely.
You've got to try to look at things a little differently, find what you have, and maybe find a new way to use it.
Exactly.
It's hard for us. We're one of the smaller tourism offices here in really the whole state. We are the smallest full-time office in our region. We operate off a 3% transient tax from motel hotels. I would like to see a restaurant tax or some other form of income that would allow us to do so much more.
Sure.
Because comparatively, you're talking us having maybe 1/5 of the budget even our neighbors in Boyd County have. So it's hard to compete, but we're trying to do things that are a little different and gear it more toward local. I've had the philosophy from the beginning that if I, myself, and my family as a local resident, if I don't have any desire to go to Old Fashioned Days, why would somebody from Columbus want to come? So if you can boost up your local attractions and really get the local public behind you, then it's much easier to try to attract visitors.
And I think that whenever you're dealing with a small town, small community like that, you are not necessarily pulling tourism from outside, you are pulling tourism from within.
Absolutely. As much, really,
exactly.
The goal is to try to get as much. I'd love to be able to count on the local people to create a crowd, if you will, at some of these local events, because that way it's easier to market those pictures, and it shows that people in the community have a vested interest. So other people will be much more likely to grab onto it.
Yeah, but it is about thinking outside the box and it is about using, case in point, this house here.
Exactly.
Bud Matheny asked me to be on the board of directors here, and so I was at my first meeting last month, and And so I know we have a lot of really cool ideas coming
Sure.
up for 2015. We're going to maybe try to do a fall festival.
Yes.
And get the schools involved with a scarecrow decorating contest, and maybe like raffle off the scarecrows and things like that. So come down here and have like a raffle, and get the community members involved and have them come down here and possibly buy back the scarecrows for the kids and things like that. So I think that would be a really good idea, because again, from my hometown, they have a house similar where they're restored it, and then that's how they get the kids in the community involved, is they have this scarecrow contest.
I've talked to Bud several times along those same lines, as having some kind of haunted house.
Sure, and they had talked about that as well.
And
it's
I
the same
understand
way,
the people that don't want to do it. I understand their argument, but I really think that would be a sustainable income stream once a year. Do it for a week.
And people do love that. And the
they
same
travel
way with
forever
the absolutely the same way with the prison. And obviously it has grown every year. I mean, and they bring tour buses into this thing. Now, granted, a prison is a wonderful place to have.
That's true. That's true.
Have.
Well, I mean, we drove to Weston twice to go to the lunatic asylum just during the Halloween season.
Sure.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, and so it has grown from the haunted house, of course, and then the tours, and then the ghost hunts, and and all that stuff to like a zombie run and a zombie walk before. I mean, it just keeps going and going and
that's
going.
What we hope for.
Yeah, exactly. And so
that's exactly.
So we certainly have talked about. I know that at that meeting we were talking about this fall festival is also including possibly a haunted house type thing here. Sure. So Hank, since you're back, you've graced us with your present. We are going to go to a commercial, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some upcoming events here in Greenup County. Our patients are priority number one. For the 7th straight year, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital has received Health Grade's Outstanding Patient Experience Award, and the hospital continues to be placed in the top 5% in the nation for outstanding patient experience. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital says thank you to our patients for this People's Choice honor. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, on a mission for good health for you and your family.
At Meredith Chiropractic, you will enjoy state-of-the-art chiropractic facilities and discover the true wellness lifestyle. Dr. Terry Meredith is a member of Great Doctors of Chiropractic and has helped many in the Ashland area experience natural healing without surgery or drugs. If you're looking for a skilled chiropractic doctor, visit meredithchiropractic.com, call 329-8158, or visit Dr. Meredith's office at 2120 Carter Avenue in Ashland.
Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching GreenupBeacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
Because the force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like that.
Hello everybody, I am back, and again I'm here with Bobby Allen, who's the Director of Tourism here for Greenup County. So we're going to talk about some upcoming events. Since we are, I guess, going into the Christmas season, I guess that's what we'll start with, and then we'll head on to some spring events.
The big event coming up that I help with, both from a tourism standpoint and in my other capacity, which is president of the Friends of Greenbow, is our New Year's Eve party.
Okay.
And obviously it'll take place New Year's Eve at Greenbow. We've got a package deal where you can get a room for a discounted rate if you're attending the party.
Okay.
We will have a DJ and all that good stuff. People can go to tourgreenupcounty.com, www.tourgreenupcounty.com. Check us out on Facebook for ticket information. They can call 606-834-0007 to reach the tourism office. We've still got tickets available, still got about maybe 8 rooms available at the lodge, so definitely give me a call. And then as we move on into spring, it really starts ramping up at Railroad Days.
Okay.
That's personally my personal pick, because I had a hand in bringing that back about 5 years ago.
Okay.
So we are trying to build that up into an event that is up there with the fair and Old Fashioned Days, and we're getting there. And Hank's going to be live streaming the entire event this year. Got approval on that, so that'll be a great outlet for people that maybe aren't able to be there, but and that's how we all work together. That's what it's supposed to be about. So Railroad Days will take place June 5th and 6th in downtown Russell. Right. More information will be available on our Facebook page and on Twitter, and as we get on into the new year. And then really that's when everything gets busy. As far as our office is concerned, when you talk about marketing and promoting for Old Fashioned Days of the Fair, individual cities have their own little fall festivals. So really, right now is we're kind of coming off
of
the
huge
busy
wave.
time.
Exactly.
So between now and really probably the end of February, it's pretty quiet outside of the New Year's Eve party.
Sure.
We usually go to Indianapolis every year as a tourism office, and the funding was cut. The state, the Department of Travel and Tourism took the 1% tax that was given to all of our tourism regions, which paid for hotels and travel shows and all that stuff. So that's no longer available. So we don't get to do our annual travel show in Indianapolis, which was an awesome outlet for us because it was a minimal expense where I could take 5,000 brochures and make sure everyone went home with somebody.
Sure.
So we don't get to do that, but so it's going to be pretty slow till 1st of March. But
which is just a shame. I just wish there was some way to increase funding somewhere. I just like I said, we were talking about the state representative. It's just funding is just cut across everywhere.
Sure, and I know a lot of people. Believe me, my dad was in politics for his entire life, and I understand that, and I am too. A lot of people are scared of the word tax. I totally understand that. But I'm a big believer in these tourism taxes because they are set up to be used a certain way. They are set up to be limited at a certain percentage. You can't just go adding on. And there is so much that can be done with that tax money. For example, you were talking about the Fall Festival with the McConnell House here. If we had the additional money in the budget, the tourism office, that would be under our jurisdiction to completely fund that.
Sure.
At no cost to the board or the house.
Sure.
And you all could use that as a fundraising opportunity.
Yes.
So those are the situations where I would love to be able to have more.
Yeah, exactly.
Have more funding, but we do the best with what we can, and we're starting to make a dent in some things. So
which is good. So we have Railroad Days coming up in June, and of course the
New Year's Eve party.
New Year's Eve party, and that is at Greenbow.
Yes.
And you guys do have a Facebook page for that?
We've got a Facebook page, Greenup County Tourism. You can search Greenup County Tourism, and then on Twitter it is at Tourism Director.
Okay.
So all the information will be pushed out. Our website, tourgreenupcounty.com. You can have access to all the schedule of events, the information on our tickets, and everything you need.
And so you work here
I work right here. For years we were upstairs in one of the old bedrooms, and just recently they decided to clean out the old law office, which was the first one-room schoolhouse, which made perfect sense for us. I'm the only employee, so we didn't need a lot of space.
Sure.
I love being out there. It's more accessible, so that's good.
Which is great. So he's just right over there, and so like I said, you can go on the Facebook page, the Twitter, the website to access information for Greenup County Tourism. It's really important that you're as a community that you get involved. Like I said, to draw the tourism from within is really important. That way you can draw a crowd, and then make it a special thing for your family and for the local people, and then I think we'll draw it from the outside then.
Yes. Well, the more people that get involved, just like the McConnell House board, that like yourself, getting involved, you and I have the energy to get things started and to kind of push them along for the next group to come in and take them to new heights. So
and I think that's kind of what Bud saw. I was like, wow, I have the house and the prison, and they do this, and he's just like, maybe I
just take that experience and try to apply it here to the McConnell House. That makes total sense.
Yes, and I love this type of stuff, which is just fantastic. And so, of course, my husband's like, that's just what you need is another project. I'm like, yes, I do need another project. Well, it's good for me.
That's okay.
It's wonderful.
Keeps you busy.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for stopping by here, and I'll let you get back to your one-room schoolhouse office over there.
There we go. And I want to say thanks to Hank and you as well for having me on. This is a great outlet. So I encourage everybody to stay tuned to what Hank's doing, because the streaming of these shows and events and sporting events, it's priceless for us.
Yes, it is. It's a wonderful thing that that Hank's got set up here, and I enjoy it. This is a lot of fun for me. Like I said, not too many places you get to throw pencils and and just do whatever, and sometimes say whatever. And
well, that's right. That's right.
Just a free outlet for whatever. So I did get a sign there from the boss that we are not going to do cooking. We are going to go straight to our Christmas show. So I want to say thank you to our State Representative Tanya Pullen for coming here today, and also to Bobby Allen for being here for the interview. And so please stay tuned for our Christmas music extravaganza with Aaron Keaton and the Scioto Brass Trio and Joan Miller.
We'll be back on January 7th.
And we are going to take a couple weeks off for Christmas and for holiday break. And so you can make sure that you go on to greenupbeacon.com or greenupbeacon2.com for any archived specials and shows and cooking segments. And we'll be back on January 7th with our live show. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and stay tuned for our Christmas show. Thank you.
The fine people at Carmen Funeral Home have been working with families in need for over 100 years. Carmen Funeral Home offers compassionate and caring services to those in their time of need, from pre-arrangement to final arrangements, with 2 convenient locations in Flatwoods and Russell. Carmen Funeral Home, putting people first since 1913. This is the Greenup Beacon News Magazine, a presentation of the Greenup Beacon and First and People's Bank and Trust. Also brought to you by Stoltz Pharmacy, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, Carmen Funeral Home, Meredith Chiropractic Office, and Tanya Pullen, State Representative. Your host today, Brittany Hoback, along with co-host Hank Bond and editor and producer Keith Adkins. This is an exclusive presentation of the Greenup Beacon, greenupbeacon.com, and greenupbeacon2.com.
Hello, and welcome to the 2014 Greenup Beacon Video News Magazine Christmas Music Extravaganza, presented by the Greenup Beacon and sponsored by the Sungate Alpaca Company, First and People's Bank and Trust, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, Meredith Chiropractic, Stoltz Pharmacy, and Carmen Funeral Home. We are at the beautiful and historic McConnell House, and we are going to be bringing you several talented musical guests throughout the program. Our first guest is Aaron Keaton singing Blue Christmas.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, that's when those blue memories start calling. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue Christmas. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a Blue, blue, blue Christmas.
First and Peoples Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and Peoples Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and Peoples Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
The next selection by Aaron Keaton is Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle bell rock, jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing and bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, jingle bells chime and jingle bells time, dancing and prancing at Jingle Bell Square in the frosty air. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up a jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock. A mix and a mingle and jingle and beat, that's the Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, jingle bells chimes at Jingle Bell time, dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square in the frosty air. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up a jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle and jingle beat, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the Jingle Bell Rock.
I'm here with the Scioto Brass Trio, Gail Dalton, Terry Thompson, and Carl Daler. First up, they will be doing Deck the Halls. You're watching the 2014 Christmas Music Extravaganza here on greenupbeacon.com. Visit the Sungate Alpaca Company to experience the vibrant cultural heritage of South America and discover the extraordinary luxury fabric called alpaca. Wrap yourself in a stylish alpaca scarf, transform your living room by adding texture and color with a hand-loomed alpaca throw blanket, and add a little extra warmth and cozy fashion with an alpaca hat and matching gloves. Visit sungatealpaca.com for all your alpaca needs. Find us on Facebook for special deals and inventory updates. Shop Sungate Alpaca. Will be joy to the world.
The fine people at Carmen Funeral Home have been working with families in need for over 100 years. Carmen Funeral Home offers compassionate and caring services to those in their time of need, from pre-arrangement to final arrangements, with 2 convenient locations in Flatwoods and Russell. Carmen Funeral Home, putting people first since 1913.
You're watching the 2014 Christmas Music Extravaganza here on greenupbeacon.com. Our next entertainer is nationally known vocalist and pianist Joan Miller from Russell, Kentucky. She now resides in San Francisco and performs in the Bay Area. next selection by Aaron Keaton will be Santa Claus is Back in Town.
Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. Well, it's Christmas time, pretty baby. Snowflakes is falling on the ground. Well, it's Christmas time, pretty baby. Snowflakes is falling down. You better be a real good little girl. Santa Claus is back in town. Got no sleigh with reindeer, no sack on my back. They're gonna see me coming in a big black Cadillac. Oh, it's Christmas time, pretty baby. The snowflakes is falling on the ground. You better be a real good little girl, baby. Santa Claus is back in town. Hang up your pretty stockings and turn out the light. Santa Claus is coming down your chimney tonight. Oh, it's Christmas time, pretty baby. Snowflakes is falling on the ground. You better be a real good little girl, baby. Santa Claus is back in town.
Our patients are priority number one. For the 7th straight year, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital has received Health Grade's Outstanding Patient Experience Award, and the hospital continues to be placed in the top 5% in the nation for outstanding patient experience. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital says thank you to our patients for this People's Choice honor. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, on a mission for good health for you and your family.
Stoltz Pharmacy is now offering patients compounding for their prescription needs. Stoltz Pharmacy is the only pharmacy in the area that is PCCA certified. We can provide you with hormone replacement, neuropathy creams, scar creams, pediatric prescriptions, and we can even help you with your veterinarian needs. If you have any questions, please call 606-834-1052. That's 834-1052. Stoltz Pharmacy in Greenup, Flatwoods, and Wheelersburg. More than you expect from a pharmacy.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Next from the Scioto Brass Trio is Up on the Housetop.
At Meredith Chiropractic, you will enjoy state-of-the-art chiropractic facilities and discover the true wellness lifestyle. Dr. Terry Meredith is a member of Great Doctors of Chiropractic and has helped many in the Ashland area experience natural healing without surgery or drugs. If you're looking for a skilled chiropractic doctor, visit meredithchiropractic.com, call 329-8158, or visit Dr. Meredith's office at 2120 Carter Avenue in Ashland.
Next up from the Scioto Brass Trio is the 12 Days of Christmas. And the next selection by Aaron Keaton is one of my personal favorites, White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be right. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. May your days, may your days, may your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be
The Scioto Brass Trio's next selection will be Silent Night. And now the Scioto Brass Trio will be doing God Rest You Merry Gentlemen.
Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching GreenupBeacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
The force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like that.
Thank you for joining us here at GreenupBeacon.com for our Christmas music extravaganza. We want to thank our guests, Aaron Keaton, Joan Miller, Carl Daler, Terry Thompson, and Gail Dalton from the Scioto Brass Trio. We would also like to thank our sponsors, First and People's Bank and Trust, the Sungate Alpaca Company, Stoltz Pharmacy, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, Meredith Chiropractic, and Carmen Funeral Home. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and many blessings in 2015.